Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are doing well as we dive into what is one of the biggest match previews of the season. And that's because we welcome Liverpool to Stamford Bridge for tomorrow, where there will be a watch-along over on Shootout. So make sure you guys are there for that. Link in the description. Actually, on top of that, go and check out yesterday's Champions League roundup and also today's Premier League predictions, where we go into all of our predictions for all of the Premier League games, Chelsea-Liverpool included, although I'm going to give you my prediction at the end of this as well. But go and have a look in terms of all the other games too. Link in the description. Enjoy. Chelsea-Liverpool. We are off the back of a 1-0 win against Benfica, right? And the night that we saw Jose come back to the bridge, which was a wonderful occasion. But we beat Benfica 1-0. Not in the most spectacular fashion. I think we can all agree. It felt flat. But we needed something. We needed something, man. The games prior to that showed, lack of discipline, lack of composure, perhaps. Poor decision-making. I wouldn't say lack of discipline. No one lashed out. But poor decision-making, red cards. We've had issues now with players that are out and are still out. And now we've got suspensions. And it's all just, things need to be brought under control. So off the back of the results where we really gave away some naive results, some naive mistakes to concede stupid goals in 4 games in a row, which I find unacceptable. We had to get a win against Benfica. And we got it, right? We got it. As much as people want to say that, we were flat, things weren't exciting, neither was it for Benfica. Our goalkeeper wasn't really worked, except for maybe a couple of occasions. But you could say the same for their goalkeeper and what we managed to do. So it balances itself out on the day, hence why I predicted that game 1-1. Because I expected a tight affair. But I expected a tight affair where we would also concede. And to take something out of that game is we didn't concede. And the bad thing is we didn't end with 11 players. We technically had it for the most part of the game up until the very last moment where we had a red card for João Pedro, second yellow, which was a correct decision. So I would take it. But now this Liverpool game, oh boy. And this is the Premier League. This is at home. We have to win. I say we have to win. We don't have to win, but we have to win. We have to go into every game going, we have to win. But it's going to be one of the hardest games we'll have this season. What do we expect from this game? Liverpool are off the back of 2 losses in a row. Losing to Crystal Palace away from home, losing to Galatasaray away from home. Now they come to Chelsea away from home. Is it going to be what I predicted on Shootout? I predicted Liverpool to lose 3 games in a row. Are we going to get that? We could be the catalysts. We could be the guys to get that done. We could be the guys to prove my point. And make my prediction come true. I didn't anticipate it to happen now, but I did say that they would lose 3 games on the bounce at some point. Well, it's come very soon. So that's something to bear in mind, because one thing that I want to mention about Liverpool before we get into Chelsea, they're not playing well. See, this is why I have to laugh when there's people that talk about beating Benfica 1-0 and some will say, but we stunk up the place. Not that bothered. Yeah, the performance does matter to an extent in circumstances. Yeah, in circumstances. Right now, off the back of the 4 games prior to that, we needed something, just a win to get at least some confidence up. Because don't tell me there isn't a mental issue here going on as well. And what breeds confidence? Wins. So that's why I said I'll take it. But it's funny, when Liverpool don't play well, but they get the win, and they do it regularly, there's no problem. And of course there is no problem. I'm not saying there is. They're getting wins. Up until lately, where they've played the same and they've not gotten results. And I anticipated this because something's off with Liverpool. I still think they're the strongest team in the Premier League. Hands down. They're the current Premier League champions. They've got top quality. They had a blockbuster window. They've brought in some unreal players. They've got themselves just every single ingredient that you would want to get a Michelin star dish. Yeah? and not know $2.99, 2 wings and chips. I don't know how much it costs now. How much are 3 wings and chips now from Bossman? Does anyone let me know? Has the price gone up? Or I remember it used to be £2. I remember it went up to 3. When I started seeing 4, I was like, yo, this inflation's going too far. So let me know. But Liverpool have all the ingredients to cook up the finest Gordon Ramsay quality food. But it's coming out stale. It's coming out raw. The meat is raw. Yeah? Where's the lamb sauce? That's what I'm asking about Liverpool. Where's the lamb sauce? I don't see no lamb sauce. This is dry. And why? Because when I see Liverpool, it still feels like, now this could be a matter of time, they're not gelling. Chemistry is low. They're not as quick and as flamboyant as they should be, as we know Liverpool to be. They take a little bit too much time. You got certain players there that are struggling. You got players that haven't formed a bond or connection yet. It's not one-dimensional football that they play, but sometimes things just hit a roadblock with them. It's not fluid. This is why I say maybe that will take a little bit of time. But a key example right now of a player that has fit in and a player that hasn't. Ekitike's come in and he's just hit the ground running. It's flowed beautifully. And he might not play tomorrow. He might not be available. Florian Wirtz, on the other side, or on the other hand, 008 could be 009 tomorrow. Might get 0010. We might get the first 0010 round here. This is what I mean. It's not always the big blockbuster footballer that's going to come in and change your fortunes. Back in the day, yeah, maybe, and even then. Now, more time than ever? Nah, doesn't mean that. Ekitike, fantastic. Isak, yet to prove a point. But we know what Isak's capable of, man. It's Isak. And he's already played in the Premier League. We know he's going to hit it running soon. But this is where I think there are holes in the Liverpool team to exploit. Now, defensively, they're not so solid. They leak goals. In fact, actually, if I was to draw up the Premier League table right now, right? Liverpool, actually, you know what? Chelsea have conceded 8 goals and scored 11. Liverpool have conceded 7 and scored 12. But they're 7 points ahead. Because despite their stinkers, and despite their flat football, and despite them not really kicking into gear, they've just had the fortune of grabbing late winners every single flipping game. Up until recently is where Crystal Palace got the late winner. Is it a beginning of the change of fortunes round here? We'll see. Chelsea have a chance to get something done tomorrow. So defensively, they've got holes that we can take advantage of. But let's talk about Chelsea. We've got our own issues. We've got our own problems. I was just talking about lack of chemistry. I don't really think that's a problem for us. Defensive issues. Oh boy, we got it worse than Liverpool. They've done mad spending. Well, we've done mad spending. We've done mad spending and mad selling. They haven't. But with our mad selling, we enabled our mad spending, which has been kind of 50-50. We've got some really good footballers in through the door on an attacking sense, and we've just not really, well, I say that, and then we bring up Gittins, for example. It's just not been good at all. And defensively, we've left ourselves with holes. So much so that coming into this fixture, we only have 2 recognised centre-backs going into this game with a third option. It's mental. And I'm going to tell you in the when I bring up the starting 11, I bring up my 11 and who I would pick tomorrow, I'll tell you exactly what the score is over there. But we've left ourselves very vulnerable defensively. Very. Which is why I'm expecting a little bit of a high-scoring game tomorrow. And I'll tell you my prediction at the end. But if we go into team news, right now for Chelsea, we know Cole Palmer is out. He's still out, and he will be out up until after the international break, so we'll see what happens. We've got 7 or 8 players out. Fofana is still out. We've got the suspension of Trevor Chalobah. We've got a couple of players that are back. We know this as well, defensively. But Mark Gu, who's yet to play too, let me tell you now, will not play. Forget it. As much as he's available to play, he won't play. And I think it's obvious that a blind Stevie Wonder stuck in a basement can see that Mark Gu will not play for Chelsea up until when he leaves on loan in January. Because if he plays for Chelsea, he cannot leave on loan in January. It's as simple as that. So he cannot play. As much as he's available there as an emergency last resort, if we had the crisis of all crises, yeah? If we had João Pedro out, Tyreek George out, even Garnacho out, Delap is obviously out. If Pedro Neto out, anyone that can play as a false nine out, and we got no option, we can say, Mark, we're sorry, you have to play. We ain't got anyone unless we stick Jorgensen up front. So don't expect Mark Gu. For anyone that's asking for Mark Gu, don't, because in January I could guarantee and sign this off. My own personal opinion, I'm just telling you how I see it. I think Mark Gu will go on loan, and I think we probably turn to Omega from Strasbourg to come in January. So let's wait and see. For Liverpool, on the other hand, their team news. Chiesa could be involved. He wasn't with the squad in Istanbul because of a minor fitness complaint, but it's still unsure whether he's going to be showing up. Ekitike had to come off in the 68th minute. Things are still unclear there. We're not sure if he's available or not. Alisson is out. He came off. We all saw what happened. He's going to be out for a while, it seems. So they're going to have to turn to Mamadashvili in goal, who's still a decent keeper, let's be honest. And Giovanni Leone has actually undergone ACL surgery. So good luck to him in his recovery, right? So he's out for a long time. But that's the team news. So without further ado, what's the starting 11 that we can possibly turn to? Well, I'll tell you what I think. Here it is. So, oh boy, I know some of you are looking and going, oh my God, I know that defense scares you. Don't worry, let me explain. So, you know what? It's not actually as tragic as it should be. I'll tell you why. Sanchez is in goal, all right? That's a given. Reece James right back, Cucurella left back is what I would go with. No Malo Gusto, please. Cucurella left back, absolutely. Now the centre backs is where we don't have a choice. We got three options. We got Achempong, Badiashile, and Yoro Hato. Hato is someone who is a left back that can play as a left-sided centre-back. But we've also just got Badiashile that's come back, who actually had a decent game against Benfica. And we've got Josh Achempong. Now, it has to be these two. Because if it's not, then one left-sided centre-back has to play at right centre-back. And I'm not willing to take that risk up until against Liverpool or against Alexander Isak. Nah, no thank you. Yeah? Josh operates better on the right-hand side. He plays as right centre-back, no problem. Badiashile is a left centre-back. He plays left centre-back. I don't want him to play at the right centre-back. No shenanigans there. Same goes for Yoro Hato. I don't want to stick Yoro Hato as a right centre-back. The only option we have is Josh at right centre-back Josh at right centre-back and Badiashile or Hato at left centre-back. We could also go to another game plan, but this would interrupt the entire system, and I don't want to do that. It's an option, but I don't want to do that. The alternative system here is to go to a back three. And by going to a back three, what do we do? Let me try and point it out to you, but I can't do it on screen because I'll mess up all the graphics. But we could just shift Reece James, Badiashile, take off Josh, and put Hato on. Back three, Hato, left-sided centre-back. I was going to say left centre-back. Left-sided centre-back. Badiashile, centre-back, the unit. Reece James, right centre-back. Malo Gusto, right wing-back. Cucurella, left wing-back. We could do that. But then it means you've got to take off a midfielder. And I don't want us to take off a midfielder. And this is why I've gone, for the first time on this channel, this season, I've gone to a midfield three with Enzo in the 10. And why? Because we are coming up against Liverpool's midfield. Their midfield is stacked. Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Now, whether they're going to play verts but they're not going to play a double pivot just in a double pivot. They normally go to a 3. We got to go man for man. If not, they will dominate the game. They know how to run the ball through the middle. They just know. So we need bodies, which is why I've gone with Santos and Caicedo and Enzo just in front. Especially as Cole Palmer is out. Okay, Enzo plays in the 10, but he tucks in and he forms a midfield 3. That is how I think we are going to close the spaces down in midfield and help us dominate the game. Which means if we do that, we can't go to a back 3. We can't. It doesn't make any sense. There's no shape for that. So this is why I've gone with this. Now let me know in the comments, what would you do? Would you do a back 3? Like I've suggested? Hato, Badiashile, Reece James, and then Gusto Cucurella as the wing backs? Or even Achimpong and Cucurella as the wing backs? Because Achimpong can actually play that role. He was a right back traditionally. We know this. So what would you do? Or would you stick with this for the benefit of packing the midfield out in this way? Because that's what I would do. I don't want to sacrifice any winger. That's a hell no. And why? Because I believe with a front line like this, we give ourselves enough opportunity to actually go and score. We're not good defensively. We can't just sit back and defend. We're not going to not concede. It's just forget it. We are conceding tomorrow. I've already made peace with that. We need to outscore Liverpool. We need our attacking players. Enzo in the 10, cool. Pedro Neto off the left, some security and stability there. Esteval on the right. I trust the boy 200%. And up front, João Pedro, who can play. He's suspended in the Champions League, not the Premier League. So that's what I would do. And I would tell Cucurella, Reece James, bomb. Reece James, maybe not so much. Be careful. But as much as you can, Cucurella, mate, up, down, cause chaos. Up, down, chaos, right? That's what I would do. Because that way, and Maresco's alluding to this in the press conference about playing a high line. I'm not asking for us to play a high line. You can attack without playing a high line. We don't all have to adhere to Ange Postecoglou's glorification of high line attacking. Yeah, you can move as a block, but you can also spread the spaces and keep your back line in place, or maybe just have them advance a little bit forward. You don't need to get them to commit to the halfway line, because if you do that against Liverpool, you are cooked. We have to keep narrow spaces between the back line and the goalkeeper. If we don't, they will have so much opportunity to run in behind us, especially with the tactic of just lump the ball forward. And then you get Isak to fight Josh Achimpong, for example. Good luck. You know, we have to be careful. So I ask us to use our attacking players, and they got to put in a double shift. If anything, we can catch them on the counters. You know? I'm not saying invite them either. Try and win the ball and press hard in their half and at the halfway line. If they get near our box, we're panicking. The game has to be dominated in the middle of the park. It has to be. We can't let them pass the middle, right? We have to win the ball in the middle, and we can't bring our defense up to the middle, because if we do that, irreversibly, we're cooked as well. So I hope that makes sense. When I say our attackers put in a double shift, you got to be extra aggressive. You got to press extra hard. You got to be tackling extra hard. You got to be doubling in with the efforts. You got to win every first and second ball. You got to do all of that to alleviate the pressure off your defense that isn't as strong as it should be right now. That's the only way that we can go up to beat Liverpool, because technically we've got enough talent up top to get some goals here. With these guys, they've all got talent here, right? They've all got technicality. We can score. And like I said, Liverpool's defense, it's got holes in it. We can get through. We can. It just has to be managed correctly. And that's Maresca's job. So I'm not looking for any shenanigans tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts down below. But ladies and gentlemen, this is my starting 11. Now, prediction time. I said this on Shootout, and I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to give you guys my honest prediction. I honestly seeing this being a little bit of a fair fight. Goals, I'm going 2-2. And I don't think that's a bad result. I know we're in a position right now where we do need goals, we do need points, we do need wins, but we are asking to win against the Premier League champions here, whilst we ain't got a back line. So we got to be a bit realistic here, but I think they get through us. I think we concede. And I think we take advantage of our chances up top, and I think we balance things out, being at home. I'll be honest, if this was Anfield, I think this would be a different story. But because it's the Bridge, I am going to say Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2 as the final result. That's my prediction. Obviously, if we win, phenomenal. That would be immense, and I think that would bring our season back on track, 100%. So let's win. Because we can win. Don't get it twisted. We can. But I would honestly come out with a prediction of a win if we had a proper backline with proper centre-backs. We don't. And we're playing Liverpool. So let's see. Let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated your predictions. And I will catch all of you tomorrow night on Shootout for the Watch Along and on here for the match review. So make sure you guys are here for the match review as well. Subscribe, notification bell on. Thank you all so much. And I'll catch all of you tomorrow. Have a good one, people. Look after yourselves. Take care and peace.